Welcome to Beat the Champ, presented by Storm, as we continue at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls, New York. Here's the lineup of bowlers that will try to knock off our returning champion, Sam Dewitt. It'll be Derrick Greene versus Jimmy Wangler, the winner to take on Jon McDowell, and the winner of that match will try to become our champion. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Peck with Buffalo Bowling Hall of Famer Sue Nawojski. He may be the Steel City striker from Pittsburgh, but Sam Dewitt has really shown us what a high-level bowler he is.
Yeah, he brought a lot of experience to our show, and you can clearly see that he's competed on some pretty high levels.
Yeah, he really demonstrated by winning all three shows, including our championship last week, that he is a guy that has bowled at high levels and knows how to handle high-level bowling.
Yeah, I mean, he faced some adversity with lane changes, changed balls, made some good decisions in critical times in order to finish off those matches.
All right, well, guess what? He's got some high-level bowlers that are going to try to knock him off that spot. We're going to find out which one of them is going to be able to do it. We are ready to get set going. We are at the Rapids Bowling Center in Niagara Falls, New York. It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by Latina Boulevard Foods, your favorite family in food distribution. And we get it started with Jimmy Wangler III against a very familiar name to Beat the Champ viewers. That is Derrick Greene. He is our champion of champions. He has won 5 weeks in a row. No one has come close to that here in our first season, but we haven't seen Derrick in a while, so it's good to have Derrick back, and he will certainly try to win a couple here to get in position to be our champion again. So a good start for Derrick Greene, and it's the first appearance on our show of Jimmy Wangler, a very familiar and famous name here in Buffalo bowling circles, but first time we've got a chance to see the 40-year-old from Buffalo, Jimmy, be on our show.
That's right. His dad was a very well-known just proponent of bowling. Great organizer, great bowler, great competitor, and they still honor him with their shirts. They're a great family. Good start.
Yeah, good start for both guys, right? Jimmy wants the crowd fired up. You know, it's first time he's ever bowled in a television setting, but he has a little secret weapon as how to handle that. I'll tell you about that in a moment. And a little slide by there, didn't take the 10-pin out, so we'll have to get a chance to see Jimmy dazzle us with his spare skills here. Service area manager for Wegmans, 40 years old, 228 average for Jimmy Wangler III. And, of course, because of his dad, he has been bowling since he's 3 years old. Good crowd turnout here at the Rapids Bowling Center. We've had great crowds. This is our third week of shows here in Niagara Falls, New York. We've had great turnout, some of the loudest crowds we have had on our show so far, and you can hear a little bit of that. So Jimmy gets the spare in the second frame, and now we flip it back over to Derrick, who's making his 7th appearance here on our show. The 5 weekly wins I told you about. 2 of those came at Manor Lanes, 3 of them at the ABC Gates Bowl in Rochester, and that's, frankly, the last time we've seen Derrick was when he was defeated to end that 5-week winning streak.
That's right. Ricky Zanone did end his winning streak, but he made a real big impression on our audiences and just been great for the show. Look at that game.
34 years old from the city of Buffalo, 244 average right now for Derrick Greene. And Derrick, much like we've talked about and with Sam Dewitt, bowls a lot of regional tournaments and gets around the country, and that's helped make him a better bowler, and we'll test those skills right away with that picket fence.
Yeah, I remember Derrick takes notes on every pair he's at, every place he bowls at. He makes notes on all of the characteristics of pairs, and we talk about one thing we've seen consistently here is on the right-hand side of the lane, the left lane here has been tighter, So that would be something he would take a note on, because all lanes do have their nuances, and no matter how many games are bowled out of them, they all have their own characteristics that tend to stay.
And again, Jimmy wants that crowd fired up. So here's the secret weapon for Jimmy Wangler. His best friend is Ryan Simonelli, a Buffalo native who spent some time on the PBA Tour. Certainly you know of Ryan's achievements. And Jimmy was the best man at his wedding, and he said literally before we started taping, he called him up and said, what do I need to know about bowling on TV? And Ryan said, just block it all out and just go bowl your game.
Very good advice. And Ryan's made a bunch of shows, so he would know.
Yeah. Ryan is, again, one of those Buffalo guys who competed at the highest levels of bowling in this country and was an outstanding member of the PBA Tour for a number of years.
Sure, there's a handful of guys from this area that rose to that level, and Ryan was definitely one of them. Ooh, tough break there.
So for the second time in 4 frames, Jimmy will have to pick up a single pin spare.
Great shot, playing him right. That was just well, a little high up on the head pin. You saw it coming up pretty high. A lot of times that 7 will be the result from either a high hit, and sometimes a swisher will leave a 7.
Oh, missed it. You know, I thought on the last single pin on the right-hand side in the second frame, he was very close to missing it, and that time he did. So it's an open in the 4th frame for Jimmy Wangler and a chance for Derrick to jump into the lead. 21 career 300s, an 834 career high series for Derrick Greene. And again, it's a contrast in styles, and you can see how hard Derrick throws it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of revolutions, and he did get that one inside of his target. No matter, you want his projection to be to the left. That one got in going towards the right. So that was going to be a little high, even though with that great ball speed, he got that inside of his target.
How hard's this split?
It's makeable, but it's difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was difficult and not makeable. So both guys go open in the 4th frame, and you know, here's your connection between Derrick and Jimmy. Is when asked who you consider your bowling idol, Derrick Greene said Ryan Simonelli.
That's right. I remember that now too. That was someone that he emulated.
Yeah, Derrick's a real student of this game, as you pointed out. Takes notes and always remembers lane conditions, writes it all down, and when he finds the groove, you've got that power to knock the pins down. That's what we saw over the course of 5 weeks.
I know, literally all 10 pins go to the back of the pit. You don't see any pin laying out on the lane.
So that's going to be the challenge now for Jimmy. 11 career 300s, an 856 series. He bowled on the high school team at Maryvale, which is in Cheektowaga, New York, not all that far from where we are here, and helped them become the 2003 New York State champions. A couple of collegiate titles in the career for Jimmy Wangler, 2006 Junior College National Tournament win, and then, of course, that high school championship in 2003. High school bowling is so big here in Western New York. That's why we make it a point to mention all of the guys that are on our show, where they bowled in high school. Derrick Greene bowled at Burgard High School in the city, but that was really their first kind of team competition experience, isn't it?
Sure, and your coaching and your discipline in order to take part in a team sport are all valuable lessons.
Jimmy Wangler, 2 in a row. He's got the crowd behind him. He's got the pins falling. Come on back. Beat the Champ, presented by Storm.
What is it about bowling that captivates us so much? Mastery of the game is impossible, but perfection is just within reach.
He does it! Kyle True!
Success seems to lie 60 feet ahead, but the real battle takes place 6 inches between your ears. So if no matter how many times you fail, you would still do anything, and I mean anything, just to get 1% better. We know exactly how you feel.
12X Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
We got a good one going here to get us started at the Rapids Bowling Center. This is the last show of our regular season, so we're going to crown our final regular season champion. Don't forget, next week's show, the highly anticipated Beat the Champ Invitational. We'll talk more about that as we go on. And Derrick Greene's got 2 in a row now, and he's starting to find the groove.
Yep, that was a big ball for him. That was what he needs to keep this match close. He's up 6 pins right now, but, you know, under a mark, anything can change.
That is Derrick's mom and his daughter looking on here at the Rapids Bowling Center. Certainly proud of dad and son, and although mom may go, what happened on that shot?
Yeah, actually the ball snapped up on him, so he's going to have to make a decision there what he's going to do. It really wasn't a bad shot.
All right, what's the decision?
Well, he's going to have to move in a little bit or change balls.
All right, so I think my question had more to do with the decision on how to approach that spare, and he just kind of went at it with the same power he always does, but that leaves him with his second open now here in the 7th frame.
Yeah, you know, any spare that has a sleeper behind it is always a little tougher.
So now you've got an opportunity for Jimmy Wangler working a double. He is throwing strikes, and he'd like to throw some more. Three in a row, and as you can hear, we have a clear crowd favorite. And that must be the Wangler cheering section must have traveled because he doesn't have any real ties to here. He said never really bowled here at the Rapids Bowling Center. He's a Buffalo guy. He's bowled everywhere.
His mom, his sister, and her family. His family. They're just there's quite a few of them there.
But no real ties to this particular bowling center other than qualifying. Well, he said he felt like this place fit his style. When a bowler says that, what does that mean?
That's a good question. I don't know how he would know what would make him know anything about it if he's never bowled here. But I guess this place has a good reputation for high scores and, you know, being synthetic. Probably the surface of the lanes is something that he likes to bowl on.
And you see the pin still spinning after 9 of them go down for Derrick Greene in the 8th frame.
Yeah, Derrick knows he's in no position here not to strike. He's really not a bad shot, but his ball drives so hard.
Yeah, we have learned that about Derrick over the years. Like sometimes when he throws it so hard, it literally just goes right through the middle of the pins. Spare in the 8th for Derrick Greene.
2 opens is tough on a shot that's, you know, a relatively high-scoring condition.
Yeah, this is a house shot as far as the oil pattern goes, and as Sue mentioned, you pointed out to me this is one of the newer bowling centers in our area, probably one of the newer ones we have been to with the show. How does that lead itself to the high scores?
It's just, you know, not as much wear and tear, obviously. Everything's, you know, buttoned down pretty tight, and optimum scoring condition, a lot of action in the pin decks. They're all pretty fresh and bouncy, and that's all good for bouncing pins around and creating carry.
Fresh and bouncy.
Fresh and bouncy.
Sounds like something you might use on your laundry, but also a bowling term. And that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes, now Derrick didn't throw that quite as hard, but sometimes he just throws it so hard
it just cuts right through.
It cuts right through. And it doesn't bounce because it pushes the pins straight back as opposed to off to the side.
Yeah, that never even made it back to the pocket. I think he's just trying to fish around, trying to find something. And,
yeah, and that's going to be a third open now for Derrick Greene, and that is quite the hurdle to have to overcome because you got Jimmy Wangler working a four-bagger right now. He would love to punch out his way to a second match. Jon McDowell is the bowler who awaits the winner of this one.
And that will seal it.
So Jimmy Wangler got the crowd behind him. He's got the bowling going in the right direction. 5 in a row. Yeah, he's feeling that. It's a single slap, which still trails Mr. Conklin, our 300 thrower, by 2, but we'll take a single slap.
I don't know. Justin better watch out. This guy might be competing for his job of getting the crowd going.
How about 6 in a row as Jimmy Wangler is going to advance on an impressive performance. Wangler and McDowell is next. It's Beat the Champ, presented by Storm. Off the 247 to 179 win, Jimmy Wangler III now matches up with Jon McDowell. A little hug for each guy, and we are set to go. Match number 2. It's first appearance on our show of the 31-year-old from Philadelphia via Rochester and Buffalo is Jon McDowell's story, and we are excited to have our first look at Jon McDowell. He was a fun guy to talk to before we got started here. Gave me a couple good quotes that I'll get to everybody. Well, I'll give you the first one. He said, "I got my striking shoes on." And yes, he does. Yes, he does. That was very impressive for Jimmy Wangler. He finished with 7 strikes in the last 8 shots.
Yep, he
to
definitely
clinch
found
that
his
victory.
groove.
Yep. And as you can clearly hear, he has the crowd behind him.
And the pin's still falling.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what a contrast. Like that one looked like it was going about, 2 miles an hour, but if it hits in the right place, the pins still fall.
Yep, he did. It was a light hit, but that swisher hit can be a high-scoring, high-percentage strike.
And I think, and we'll find out as we watch more of Jon McDowell, but you saw the contrast in the first match of sort of preciseness versus power. Not that Jimmy doesn't throw it well and hard, but, Derrick Greene may be one of the hardest throwers we've ever had on our show, and he struggled because of that a little bit.
He's got this ball reading the lane just perfect for him, though, because we've seen, a few things that kind of affected Carey over the last couple weeks. And like I said, pairs have their nuances, and he just has that ball setting up in the exact right place.
All right, so we get a good, nice long look here at Jon McDowell. Grew up a native of Philadelphia, moved to Rochester, now lives in Buffalo. And he told us that has had a lot to do with the improvement of his game. He said, nothing against my hometown of Philly. He goes, but the bowling level of competition in both Rochester and Buffalo is so far superior, it has made me better.
And that's great. Competition is good. One thing we see here, Rab, is we talk about, the bouncy the back ends, but this is what you see. We've seen a lot of messengers come out and take out pins, especially on that right lane, and that is a product of the pin decks and how reactive they are. Sometimes the gutters can be flat and you won't get all of that pin action in the back, but not here.
Jon McDowell said in relation to moving up here and getting involved in the bowling world and the level of competition, he said, you got some real dogs in Western New York, and that's about as high a compliment as you can get. Nice form, good power. So this could shape up as whoever doesn't strike might be the one who doesn't win.
Yeah.
Coming right at you.
He didn't like that.
No.
You could tell his body language.
And again, thanks to his good pin movement, he at least saved himself one less to have to knock down.
So he hit a spot. I mean, he got it. He was getting it down the lane, and you just saw the ball like make a move. So he hit a spot that kind of went dry.
Locked in on the 6-10, and he gets it. Spare in the third for Jimmy Wangler.
So when oftentimes when people are playing the lanes in the same way, in the same manner, looking at the, they're just getting double time on that track, So what happens is that all of a sudden that spot will just go because the balls have pretty much absorbed the oil from that spot, and it almost looks like so many that they've used this spot to the point where it broke down on them.
Yeah, you saw some of the members of the Wangler cheering section over Jimmy's shoulder, and they're back to cheering as loud as they were. 3 strikes and a spare in the first 4. Jon McDowell has been perfect through 3. John bowls in 3 leagues right now, over 100 career 300 games, and a high 858 series. When you have to put 100 plus on your bio sheet next to how many 300 games,
he got here.
Yeah. I'm kind of intrigued by the combo of power and precision that we're seeing from Jon.
I mean, yeah, we're watching him play the lanes pretty similar to how we've seen the more successful bowlers that have had the best carry playing them, getting out to the right, using that big break in the back end to create carry.
5th frame. 5 frames, 5 strikes for Jon McDowell. The last time that happened was 2 weeks ago when somebody had 5 strikes on the front side, and it was Stephen Conklin on his way to our first ever Beat the Champ 300 game here at Rapids 2 weeks ago. This has been, we've had some of our best crowds, we've had some of our loudest crowds, and thankfully our bowlers have given them a lot to be excited about. And that time, the messenger does not deliver the 10 pin.
Now he's going to have to make this spare. He's got it out to the same spot, but the ball doesn't drive off the outside as strong. He's got a ball that that kind of backs off in the back end, doesn't just left turn basically off the dry.
Spare in the 5th for Jimmy Wangler.
It's always tough when you lose your carry when the guy you're bowling against has great carry.
So Jimmy has to know that Jon McDowell has 5 strikes up on the board on the front side 5 frames, and he knows that he's got to start. He'd like to do that on the backside here.
Correct.
Jimmy Wangler gets that strike he needs in the 6th frame. This is a good one going. Come on back to Niagara Falls, New York.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends,
great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
we are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Four of this season's best bowlers will emerge from an elite field and take aim at the season's biggest first place check, where only one can win. It's the season finale and the coveted title, the Beat the Champ Invitational, presented by Storm. Find out who wins this season's signature event. Catch all the action here on MSG. Sixth frame now for Jon McDowell. He has been incredibly consistent, and when you're consistent, that's why you get strikes in 5 straight frames.
Wow. Definitely got that one out there.
You think so?
That shot right through his break point.
For a second there, I was thinking that was going to knock down 10 pins on the other lane to the right.
Yeah, but he did break up that nasty split.
Yeah, he did get lucky for a bad
That
shot like that to only have to rescue 1 pin. Oh, and you know what? As you've told me before, sometimes when something bad happens, you got to shake it off, and it isn't always easy. So a run of 5 consecutive strikes comes to an end with an open in the 6th for Jon McDowell.
Yep, now that's all that striking. If Jimmy can throw the next 2, we're within 10 pins.
That one got a little bit
And he got that
on the
in.
left side there, but he still got what he needed.
So the right hand on the right hand lane, he missed to the right. On this one, he didn't want to do that, and he cut it short, and never got it to his target.
Well, sometimes you do need to be a little lucky. So now we'll find out how critical that open in the 6th could be, and a lot of that will have to do with what Jimmy is going to do starting here in the 7th frame.
Excellent shot. I mean, to come back and throw that shot in pretty much a must-strike situation is pretty impressive. And he changed his angle to the pocket, too. He moved everything in.
Good read, good adjustment. Double now for Jimmy Wangler.
As you can see, that he never gets it out to the 1-2 board like they have been.
8th frame now.
Jeez, that looked pretty good.
Sure did. For all the pin action that we have been talking about, he got some of it, but not all of it. Just pushed that pin too much to the outside instead of to the back, or it would have taken the 10 out.
All right, good spare.
Good spare in the 8th for Jimmy Wangler. Winner of this match takes on our returning champ, Sam Dewitt III, to become our champion, our final regular season champion. Because unlike in all of our other shows, our champion of this week's show will not advance to next week's show because next week is our Beat the Champ Invitational.
Right.
And that's 2 in a row for Jon McDowell after he shakes off that open.
Yep, that was a good way to use that lucky strike he got on the left lane by capitalizing on it and throwing a good shot here.
Been bowling since he was 6 years old. It was his dad that got him into the sport. His dad was a bowler, and much like the stories that we often tell, you bring the kids to the bowling center, you get them hang out, and they get hooked, and then it becomes the inspiration for them to be great. Jon McDowell had a 5th place finish in the Rochester USBC Masters, one of the great achievements of his bowling career.
Great recovery. It looked for a little bit that he was kind of losing his ball reaction there. He missed one to the right, then he missed one to the left, and it was like, was he losing it? But he came back and recovered great.
3 in a row now for Jon McDowell, so Jimmy Wangler heads to the 9th frame.
All he can do here is strike out and put some pressure on Jon. Got got that one right.
And leaves himself a tricky spare. And at some point, all those strikes Jon McDowell was putting up have to start to weigh on you a little bit.
It caught up with him, yeah.
And that's an untimely open in the 9th frame for Jimmy Wangler, and that might be the moment that wraps this one up. And again, you get a good look at a lot of folks here cheering on Jimmy Wangler. As we said, part of a longtime bowling family and here to support him. And that's a good bounce back strike in the 10th for Jimmy Wangler.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. You're bowling a guy that's gotten 8 out of 9 strikes.
Yeah. So, again, we had a feeling when we came here a couple of weeks ago to the Rapids Bowling Center, for the reasons that you already said, we were going to get some pretty good scores, and the guys have certainly responded to that. It's a standard house shot oil pattern, so nothing over the top to challenge the guys. But, again, from what Sue said, this is just a place where if you're bowling well, you're going to score well. So Jimmy finishes with a 204. It won't be enough, and we're going to watch Jon McDowell finish out a very impressive match here. As Sue said, 5 strikes in a row to start, then an open, and 3 strikes in a row since then.
There it is again.
Please tell me there's a bowling term for when you have all strikes and 1 open.
No.
No? See, I'm very disappointed. There are 1,000 pieces of lingo in this sport, and every time I ask you for one of a unique situation, you got nothing
I don't
for
know.
me.
I don't know how unique it is, but
well, it's unique because I don't think you'd see that very often.
I know that somebody will walk around and complain about that they threw 11 out of 12 strikes, only shot 260.
And there it is. It is 11 strikes right now for Jon McDowell. And if not for that
It's
open
10.
In the 6th, we'd have a chance to have a couple of 300 games within 3
and
weeks.
that was a good shot too, and then he just missed the 10 pin.
And there it is, 11 strikes and 1 open, and it's a 267 win for Jon McDowell. McDowell and Dewitt championship match is next. Our host center for Beat the Champ, presented by Storm, is Rapids Bowling Center. You can find them online at rapidsbowlingcenter.com. They're just one of our many great host centers. If you want details on how to be a part of Beat the Champ, just stop in at any of our host centers and ask them, how can I be on the show? And we might be seeing you here on the lanes like we are seeing the combatants in our finals. It's a keystone clash between a couple of Pennsylvania natives. Sam Dewitt from Pittsburgh, Jon McDowell originally from Philadelphia. Here they are in Niagara Falls, New York, bowling for our championship.
Who would have predicted it?
No, nobody would have, but that's the fun part of this show and of this sport, is it can travel and you can travel. And Jon McDowell is traveling strikes from his last match where he put the 267 up and ran off 6 in a row to end it. That counts now up to 7. Meanwhile, Sam Dewitt was very impressive last week in winning 3 matches, including our championship over Stephen Conklin, Mr. 300. And Sam Dewitt from Pittsburgh has already shown us, as he did on the last show, that he is a high-level professional.
Pretty much looks like the last time we saw him.
Yep.
Getting that ball all the way out to the right.
On the last show, again, he won 3 matches, including our championship. 238, 216, 268 were the 3 scores from Sam Dewitt in winning all 3 of those matches.
Great shot.
36 years old from Pittsburgh. No real ties to Niagara Falls or Western New York. Heard about the show from some of the guys he bowls regional events with and said, well, I'm interested in that. Hopped in the car, drove the 3 hours from Pittsburgh, qualified, and here he is winning on our show.
That's right. He made the trip twice because he spent a weekend qualifying, and
That's
now
right.
he's here on the show.
Well, you know, as Jon McDowell said, we got dogs here in Western New York, but they don't all have to come from Western New York. And these 2 guys are dogs, I can tell you that right now. And right now, all they're doing is striking.
Perfect through 2.
Jon has a bit of an interesting style that you sort of noted before.
Well, just has got quite a bit of loft. And, he repeats it and gets it out there the same way, but he does.
Is loft is unusual?
Loft is, no, it's more unusual than usual because you're bouncing it over the heads. So in a lot of ways that retains some ball energy, but it's just, are you lofting it are you projecting it the same as every single time?
And you can see how far down, almost to the arrows where the ball is landing. Are you giving up something that you would be benefited from the heads there?
No, not as. I mean, to negate the heads is just to take a portion of what you have to figure out of the mix. So this is a battle of I'm going to hit the pocket, but who's going to carry better?
Sam Dewitt III is 36 years old, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Works in the shipping receiving at the VA Hospital of Pittsburgh. He is a veteran himself, having served in the Air Force. You saw him, if you saw last week's show, you saw him in the camouflage bowling uniform and, funny little hop and a bounce there at the end.
He stuck there, and a couple weeks ago I saw Steve stick in the same spot, so there must be one spot on the lane that is where they happen to slide to pick up that right-hand spare that is a little sticky.
Even though Sam has not necessarily bowled in the Western New York area, he has bowled all over the state of Pennsylvania. It's 2019 state doubles champ, finishing 3rd in a couple of Central and East Region PBA events over the last couple of years. And it's kind of what Sam does, is he travels to bowl, and it usually goes pretty well, and it's gone well here, although he looks to the roof here at the Rapids Bowling Center and wonders exactly where it's gone.
Well, those are hits that he's been getting all day, and that you have to get. I mean, the swisher 4-pin on the last shot, stone 7 on this one. Those can take the air out of your sails when you've thrown good shots and get nothing for him.
So after strikes on the first 2 frames, it's spares on the next 2. Meanwhile, much as Jon McDowell did in the last match, he is looking to start with 5 straight strikes, and we'll find out if he can do that now. He had 11 strikes and an open in the last match for 267. Four frames, 4 strikes.
So the difference is right now his ball is getting those awkward hits, the ones that are a little iffy. Jon's gotten every single one of them to fall.
I was going to say, when those pins are falling, they're almost falling over, which seems a little unusual to me because a lot of what we talk about and show you is the pin action taking other pins out.
Right. He is definitely getting the pins to fall, forward, backwards, definitely in his favor.
Oh, that one just spun by the 10 pin.
It's hard to believe. It almost seemed like fate that everything was just going to carry for him, but
yeah, no slide by pinning on that one.
So this is his second chance at a 10 pin that his only open first game was a 10 pin.
That was it. It was the 10 pin that he got too far to the right. Yeah, the arms up and the celebration shows you that he figured out that problem.
I can do it.
All right, so he can't match 5 strikes in a row to start, but he does it with 4 and a spare. And that has already put the pressure on Sam Dewitt. Junior college All-American at the Community College of Allegheny County in the Pittsburgh area. 82 career 300s and an 880 high series.
Great
and that's
shot.
what we're used to seeing from Sam.
By Sam not striking in the fifth, it gave, I'm sorry, by Jon not striking in the fifth, it gave Sam an opportunity to tighten this matchup a little bit. He throws a double here and he can pick up 10 pins on him.
And he'll have the chance at the double as he eyes the pins and looks down the lane on the 6th frame. One of the things that we talked a lot about with Sam from his wins last week was making ball changes at the right times. There's your double.
He looked back at that 7 pin, almost stood up and stared at him again.
Yep, that's the double in 5 and 6, and Sam Dewitt's right back in this championship showdown with Jon McDowell. Come on back for the final right after this.
What is it about bowling that captivates us so much? Mastery of the game is impossible, but perfection is just within reach. Success seems to lie 60 feet ahead, but the real battle takes place 6 inches between your ears. So if no matter how many times you fail, you would still do anything, and I mean anything, just to get 1% better. We know exactly how you feel.
XXX Tech Bowling Supplies is committed to continuing the decades-long tradition of excellence established by the DeSanto family. We are the ultimate destination for customer service, experience, and product variety. We offer an extensive inventory of balls, bags, shoes, and accessories. Our unique fitting and drilling process, combined with our in-house lane, ensures a perfect fit every time. With a range of repair and maintenance services, we can help keep your gear performing at its best. Consult our team today at 1000 Highland Drive in the J. Scuddy South Plaza, conveniently located off of 390 in Henrietta.
6th frame now for Jon McDowell. As he will try to start a new run of strikes after the 5th frame spare. That pin
He turned
about
it around.
a quarter turn, didn't it?
Yeah, the cue's facing a different direction than it was.
Watch the 10 pin and watch it turn counterclockwise.
There it goes.
Yeah, it kind of bounced its way a little bit, didn't it? And another good 10 pin spare
That's 2.
for Jon McDowell.
He gave us the 2, but he's made 2 of them.
Jon just has the look on his face of like, there's no place in the world I would rather be than on a bowling center throwing on TV right now. It just, that's great. That's what we love about the guys who just love this sport. And when he can slide that 10 pin back the other way and not spin it around, it's even better.
Now here's a unique opportunity of making this match tied, because if Sam can double here, then this match will be completely tied.
So Sam's working a double, and I had a feeling this one was going to come down to the last couple of frames, and it sure looks like that's going to happen. And we are tied.
Oh.
So 3 in a row now for Sam Dewitt. Do we hear 4? We hear 4.
We are tied
How about that?
with a 10-pin advantage to Sam with the strike up that Jon has an opportunity to match.
And again, as we talked about, because this is the last show of our regular season, our winner here today gets to be our champion for a couple of months.
That's right.
Until we get going again in the fall. So this will be the longest that any of our bowlers can say they are the champion. And before we figure out whether it's going to be Jon, he'll have another 10-pin.
Yep, we just had a leader change with that shot right there. We should get the 3. There it is. We got the 3.
All right. So now Sam Dewitt is back in the lead.
It is Sam's match in hand at this point. He can control it.
And again, to come back from watching Jon strike on the first 4 frames and look like he was almost invincible, gotta hang in there, right? You gotta hang in there, keep making your shots.
Yep, that's 10 frames.
So now we've seen this will be potentially 4 spares in the last 5 frames. What has changed for Jon?
Well, that's the subtleties of a house shot. If you are forced in a little bit, if you even catch a little bit of that oil, all of a sudden you start seeing the weak 10 pins. And in order, you have to make a big change, a pretty big change. And now you're going to make a change when you're hitting the pocket and you've only got a couple frames left. And that's always the decision. The first 4 frames, he was perfect. Then all of a sudden, he started losing that 10 pin.
Sam Dewitt, 4 strikes in a row. 9th frame. Can he make it 2 weeks in a row as our Beat the Champ title holder? He is sure doing everything he needs to. So 10th frame now with a chance to close this one out and give Sam Dewitt a 2nd straight win. Talked about Derrick Greene having been on our show, having won 5 in a row. I don't think Sam might be done at just 2. But we'll all have to wait a little while to find that out. Yeah, he is,
there it is
on a roll. And that clinches the win for Sam Dewitt III. He is our 2-time Beat the Champ winner. Just an incredible replication of the same shot over and over and over again, and that's probably the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's really impressive. It didn't give up there in the beginning when he was, kind of getting down, not getting the breaks, and just turned it right around.
Second shot of the 10th frame.
Good place for that.
Yeah. After you've already clinched the win, absolutely a good place for it. So that ends a run of 6 consecutive strikes for Sam Dewitt. So he won't be able to punch out his way to a win, but it's going to be a win nonetheless as Sam Dewitt punches up a 255. Very impressive. And equally as impressive is watching Jon bowl these last 2 matches. Again, he's a guy that I feel like we have not seen the last of. I feel like there's a bright future for Jon McDowell on Beat the Champ.
Yep, I think he's got a taste of this now.
And he's got the right attitude, right? Look at him. He's having fun. He's enjoying himself. Didn't win, but I think he also knows he lost to one heck of a bowler. And that's a good way to put a couple of exclamation points on this. 2 strikes, 1 more to finish out, but that's your winner, Sam Dewitt III. We will wrap it up, talk to Sam, and get you ready for the Invitational next week when Sue and I return right after this.
The Western New York area has long been considered one of the best anywhere for the sport of bowling.
And no matter where you live, we have lanes nearby.
For top competition,
Fun with family and friends.
Great food and drink, or just a night out, we got you.
We are
The bowling proprietors.
of Western New York.
Stop in and enjoy our sport today.
Four of this season's best bowlers will emerge from an elite field and take aim at the season's biggest first-place check, where only one can win. It's the season finale and the coveted title, the Beat the Champ Invitational, presented by Storm. Find out who wins this season's signature event. Catch all the action here on MSG. Beat the Champ is sponsored by Storm, the Bowlers Company, and by the Bowling Proprietors Association of Western New York. Stop in and enjoy our sport today. Quite the battle, but it's Sam DeWitt, 255 to 236. You got pushed pretty good there by Jon.
Yes, I knew he was going to throw up a lot of score. I was telling my fiance beforehand that I was going to have to put up a big score in order to keep up. He throws the ball really, really well. Strikes hard.
When he throws 5 strikes to open things up like he did, where does that put your head at?
I just kept telling myself, just hit the pocket as much as you can, get as many as you can, and hope that the pins fall in your favor.
All right, 2 weeks in a row now, you are our Beat the Champ winner. You are also going to be our winner heading into next season, so you get to be the winner for most of the summer here. Tell everybody in Pittsburgh you're the best guy in town, and then we get to have you come back in the fall.
That's going to be exciting. This was an awesome experience. I loved every minute of it. It was so great.
Yeah, well, we loved watching him, too. I think as it continued on, Sue, we start to learn how good this guy is, how professional he is.
Yeah, those 2 guys put on a little clinic for us about hitting the pocket, that's for sure. And yeah, the experience did win out in the long run, but it was really a great match.
All right, so Sam's got a little bit of time off, but you don't have any time off because next week it's our signature event of the year. It is the Beat the Champ Invitational. We're going to crown the champion of all champions. Make sure you join us for next week's show. It is Beat the Champ presented by Storm.